Has a goal and scores majestically.
Oh my word! Fabulous!
Oh, what a strike that is. Simply spectacular.
Oh, it's an absolute beauty, isn't it?
The best goal of the night.
It all starts here.
Hello and welcome to National League 72 in its brand new time slot of 6 o'clock every Thursday. Some things haven't changed though. We'll be bringing you all the news and reaction to what has been another busy week in the National League. Alongside me, as ever, my main partner, Aaron McLean. You had a good week, mate?
Yeah, it's been a good week. No game at the weekend, but gave me an opportunity to be able to just watch over a few teams, see how everyone's progressing. So yeah, always good.
There was another eventful midweek fixtures in the National League. York City came late again to scoring. What have you made of their performance and how crucial were those 3 points?
Well, they were vital. You know, Maidenhead historically do well at home against all the big teams. So as the game was coming to an end and you know, they were level, I thought they might do it again. You know, another team that they just disrupt their promotion charge. But York showed great character, managed to get the couple of goals in injury time. Obviously, it had to be that man, Ollie Pearce, and our mate Josh Stones as well, who got on the score sheet. But like I say, it was vital that they got those 3 points and just kept pace with Barnet because, you know, we've seen the charge that they're on at the moment and they're almost just waiting for the likes of York and Forest Green to slip up. It could have been a brilliant night for Dean Brennan and his team.
York have got that extra game in hand to narrow the gap. How important is it to keep that pressure on Barnet because they look unstoppable at the minute?
Yeah, they do. They do. They're in a really good moment. But for the chasing pack, it's vital that they keep winning. You know, these games in hand are great on paper, but they only mean anything if you go on and win the games. You know, if York had dropped points yesterday, they're already 6 points behind. You know, that would have been 8 points that they've got to try and make up with only one game in hand. So it's vital that they keep pace, keep winning those games, keep putting the pressure on Dean Brennan's team and keep them honest. They have to keep winning in order to preserve that lead that they've got at the moment. And I don't know, do you prefer being at the top or do you prefer being the chasers? I'm not too sure. I think I'd probably prefer to be at the top and make sure that we just week in, week out, we just keep winning and demoralising the opposition. But York and Forest Green both know exactly what they need to do. They need to win. At all costs, they need to make sure they get 3 points every week.
Down at the other end of the table, we spoke about Aldershot a few weeks back and they were on a bit of a slippery slope. Since then, they've gone on and produced some really good wins and Cameron Hargreaves on the score sheet for the third time in a row. He's hitting some really good form. Well,
he's been, you know, a standout player for them. You know, it's obviously knowing his dad so well and knowing the character and personality that Chris is, it's no surprise to see Cam is following suit. You know, he's doing all the right things and he's coming up with big performances at a crucial time. That's what Aldershot had needed and I worried for them. You know, I've got to say I really feared for them because I wasn't sure where the goals were going to come from, where they were going to be able to pick up the points. But Cam Hargreaves has definitely come to the fore. He's shown his leadership qualities and he's shown why they brought him to the club in the first place because his goals have been vital to propelling Aldershot up the table.
Have they shown enough now that relegation is far behind them now? Do you think they're pretty much safe?
I wouldn't say they're safe. I still think they've got some work to do and we've seen in the National League that 1 week, all of a sudden, everything can change, you know, and now that they're in that rhythm of winning games, they now need to preserve that. They now need to continue to keep growing, to kick on and really move away from the relegation and start to build for next season. You know, I think every single team in this division, whether you're near the top, near the bottom or in the middle, you should now be having one eye on next season. And the managers are looking and saying, right, which players are we going to carry over with us? Because you don't want your season to just peter out. You know, I don't think any player, any manager wants their season to just peter out. So you always have to have one eye on the future. But the here and now, it's just about continuing the progress that they've made over the last few weeks.
One club that will definitely have their eyes on next season is Solihull. With Matt Taylor in charge, it has not been a pretty sight for them. They are struggling. They are slipping down the table. I think relegation is a bit too far, but they just keep dropping and can't find a win.
Well, that's 5 defeats in a row now for Matt Taylor and his team. And again, Matt Taylor will be looking at his players and saying, this is where I want to be. Which of you lot can actually do what I'm asking you to do? You naturally expect when a new manager goes into a club, you get that new manager bounce and, they go on and at least have a period where they're playing good football and winning some games. It's been the total opposite for Solihull. So there is I'd imagine, going to be a rebuild at Solihull come the end of the season. Which of those players end up staying at the club and which ones get moved on, we'll have to wait and see. But the here and now, I'm sure Matt Taylor just wants to start getting a few wins and start to get a little bit of a feel-good factor around the place, because I can imagine it's a tough place to be right now with the way the form is.
How do you build morale in a changing room when you're coming off the back of 5 defeats? How difficult is it just to get that little bit of luck to change fortune?
It's very difficult. Any team that is struggling for form will naturally be struggling for confidence. You naturally go in to training and it's, as much as the manager can try and lift the mood and try and keep the environment happy and bubbly, it's very, very difficult. Because when you look at the league table, they've now slipped away from playoffs. I don't think they're even in the playoff conversation. They're not going to get relegated, but they are almost in no man's land now and not playing well. Week in, week out, they're coming off the pitch at 5 o'clock having had another defeat. So yeah, it's very difficult to lift it. But one win, it can be a scrappy win, a hard-fought win. That can all of a sudden change the mood. And especially if it comes from something that you've worked on in training and you go out on a Saturday or in a midweek game and you put that into practice, then you can see that the hard work during the week is paying off. At the moment, they're not getting any rewards for the work that they're doing on the training ground.
There were some big results on Tuesday night as well in the National League North and South. We'll start in the North, Aaron. The outstanding result was Brackley beating Rush Olympics 6-1 and narrowing that gap at the top of the table to Chester. Yeah,
well, I think the North and the South, very tight at the top. I think it's difficult to predict who's going to end up winning the league, but they were big results. Brackley winning, Scunthorpe winning, Chester, drawing against Oxford. I think that those are big results. But you can go down as far, you go down to Hereford, who are in great form. I think they've won 5 on the bounce. Chorley, who just got a vital win that was needed. And they've got a few games played less as well. So it's so tight at the top. Again, week in, week out, it's chopping and changing. And it's going to be a thrilling end to the season for sure.
And it's exactly the same in the National League South. Dorking sit top. They didn't play on Tuesday night, but big wins for Eastbourne Borough against Maidstone, who went on that incredible unbeaten run. But since that come to an end, they're struggling to find a bit of form in George Elokobi, but a massive win for Eastbourne.
Yeah, huge win for Eastbourne. Again, that just keeps them interested. I keep saying it week in, week out, but I have no idea who's going to end up winning this league. Bourne would have played less games, but if they win, they could go top. Obviously, Dorking sit top at the moment, and there's a whole host of clubs that any kind of form will propel them to the top of the division. So, that's a league that will keep you entertained throughout. And even once you find the winner, the playoffs are going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, Worthing played as well. They suffered a 2-1 defeat against Farnborough. That is a fantastic football club, what they're doing over there with George Dow, the chairman, who owns the club as well. He is creating a really good atmosphere down there. They've got the stand, they've got the support, but they've come to a defeat. They're the only ones that have got games in hand really on Dorking to narrow that gap. But that's an opportunity missed for them.
It is an opportunity missed. That's a season. You are going to, every now and again, you're going to have a hiccup. It's just how they bounce back now. Season after season, they're continuously in the mix, in the shake-up. So that's credit to the club. It's now just how do you respond to that defeat? And if they're able to respond in the right way, then I'm sure that they'll be there or thereabouts.
Yeah, it's definitely going to go down to the wire in the North and South. We can actually now get some reaction from the fans across the National League and the North and South. We'll start in Eastbourne Borough. Joe Summers says, statement win. Quite simple, just 2 words. So they're obviously happy with that one. George says, the perfect response from Saturday. What a win, lads. Alan Mitchell, cracking team performance and resilience at the end. The fans are really important at this stage of the season to help these players get over the line, aren't they?
100%. You know, I've seen it over the last 3 or 4 years that I've been covering, you know, the National League and the North and the South. And, you know, the fans are really passionate, but the fans can be a huge, huge help. You know, I remember last season going to Braintree and how good the fans were. And they almost helped Braintree get over the line in that playoff final. You know, it's vital that these fans turn out in their numbers, really support their team, get behind them. And even when they're going through a little bit of a tough patch, get behind the lads because it makes such a difference.
Absolutely. And the Aldershot fans did exactly that on social media. Wes Holt says, a fantastic performance, back-to-back wins, and a very important 3 points. And Bobby H says, a huge win in a tough league. We needed this. Fair play to the management team for sticking to their beliefs. And what a goal from Cam Hargreaves. 3 in a row for him. So the fans are buzzing for Cam as much as you are.
Yeah, and listen, I'm buzzing for the club. You know, obviously I spent two great years at Aldershot, so it's a club that's close to my heart. And, you know, I'd hate to see them drop out of the division. So to see them now start to pick up over the last few weeks, to see Cam Hargreaves come to the forefront and really lead that team, you know, up the table, you know, I'm delighted for everyone concerned.
Yeah, a few players have been saying a few things on social media as well. Josh Stones, after that win, said, what a team, what a win, away support, clap emoji and a heart. So he really does appreciate the fans. They do travel well. You were down at the Barnet game and that was a noisy affair as well. Tyree Sinclair, we keep fighting at York City. So the players very much believe they can do this and they just know one game at a time. They just got to keep getting those points on the board and narrowing that gap to Barnet.
100%. You know, I think that they've got a brilliant feel around the club. I think you have to put it in perspective and you look at where York were last season. They just about stayed in the division. You know, and this year they're right near the top of the division, really fighting to try and get promoted. So anything's better than last season. They're very much in the mix. And they've brought a really good blend of player. You know, Josh Stones has come in and he's been brilliant. You know, Tyree Sinclair, after the Barnet game, he hardly had a kick that game, but, you know, bounces back with another good performance. So they're a team that they've got a real good team spirit and they will keep fighting right till the end, that's for sure.
Josh Stones was on the score sheet in midweek, but has he made Aaron McLean's top 3 goals of the midweek fixtures? I'm going to tell you, he hasn't. But we'll leave it up to the big man to tell us who is in your top 3, starting with numero 3.
Okay, well, number 3 is Ollie Pearce. Now, this goal, first of all, lovely ball through, but it's the composure that he shows. You know, he knows exactly what he wants to do before the ball gets to him. Lovely finish, across goal, into the bottom corner, and that was in injury time as well. So the composure and technique to dispatch that, and that basically gets them the 3 points, so great finish.
Who's in at number 2?
So number 2 is Tristan Abraham. Again, a really good finish, good technique. When this cross comes over, this is a hard technique to do. Keeps his eye on it the whole way, and it almost passes it into the bottom corner. You know, it's on the volley, but it's almost a pass. Fantastic finish, fantastic technique, and a good goal for Tristan.
And who takes top spot this week?
Well, top spot, as we've heard already, has to be Cameron Hargreaves. Such an important goal. You know, it was the opening goal of the game. Gets Aldershot, gets the ball rolling, and the technique on it. You know, fantastic volley into the far top corner. Brilliant goal, brilliant win. Cameron Hargreaves gets all the plaudits this week.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, I don't think we can say his name anymore on this show. We've spoken to him quite a lot. Right, coming up later on, we look ahead to another massive weekend in the National League this weekend. And of course, a huge afternoon for Sittingbourne FC as they take on Aldershot in the FA Trophy. We'll see you in a couple of minutes.
let's have it.
We know you've always got your eye on the prize, the championship belt. And why wouldn't you? You're a finely tuned, well-oiled boxing watching machine, capable of consuming over 150 fights on the DAZN every year.
We've gone big, we've gone global.
Churning through combinations, comebacks, and non-stop knockouts.
Where are you?
With big fights every week, you're the best in the world. So go on, get that belt, champ. DAZN, undisputed.
DAZN is the global home of women's football, bringing you the best live games
On my team.
with the biggest stars, battling it out in the biggest competitions.
Cue the chaos. First blood in the title decider. Would you believe it?
Witness every season-defining moment,
Written in the stars.
live and on demand, only on DAZN.
Good evening and welcome to Multi-Match Live.
Here on DAZN, we bring you all the goals, action and drama from tonight's National League game.
With eagle eyes is York City striker Josh Stones. How are you, sir?
Ball in towards Fondo, and he scored.
One match just scored.
That's the best performance as a team I've seen with them season. People have written you off.
Josh, firstly, mate, where are you?
I'm sitting in my car outside Dagenham Redbridge Stadium. I've popped out to have a chat with you two guys before I go back in to watch the rest of the game.
What a night of National League football.
Brilliant. It gives you everything.
Can't beat the National League live coverage on DAZN. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next time.
What a wonderful goal. Superbly hit.
This weekend, our cameras head to the northeast on Saturday as Gateshead take on AFC Fylde exclusively live on DAZN. Our coverage begins from 5:15. Also catch all the goals and action from this week's round of the National League with our highlight show exclusively live on DAZN every Sunday from 4 p.m. Okay, let's preview our live DAZN game this weekend. It is, of course, Gateshead versus AFC Fylde. Gateshead have scored 13 goals in their last 5 games. They just love finding the back of the net. They're scoring for fun.
Yeah, well, they're a team that they play amazing football, you know, and they have done, you know, from Mike Williamson to Rob Elliott. Now with the new manager, it's almost been seamless, the transition. You know, they continuously manage to get manager after manager. Their managers go on to what you'd say is bigger and better things, but they always seem to have another one in the pipeline. And the football they play is brilliant. I think they're definitely one of the best footballing teams in the division, but they get results. You know, they score goals. Every now and again, they'll be on the wrong side of a result, but, you know, the football that they play is brilliant.
You spoke about their managerial appointments. It's nice as well for them to have one of their own, Carl Magnay, who everyone knows up there. Obviously, he did the Football Icon series way back, obviously, when I was a teenager as well. It's so important that someone understands the ethos of the club, and he's just slotted in, like you said, seamlessly.
Yeah, and all those managers, you know, that I just mentioned, they do. You know, they're up in the Newcastle area. They understand what it takes to be successful up there. You know, what the people of the Northeast, what they expect from their team, from their players, from their managers. They just expect hard work, you know, hard work, desire, dedication. And as long as you go out and give that, then they'll give you everything in response. And, you know, Gateshead is a difficult place to go. You know, nobody wants to go there and play. The stadium is is so big that that could work against them, but it doesn't. They use it to their advantage and they get the results for it. So yeah, fair play to them.
And on the pitch, Javon Malcolm is having a real good run of form. He may not have had as much game time this season as he wanted, but recently he's putting in some really solid performances and showing he's got bags of potential.
Yeah, well, he's really hitting form at the right time. You know, it's one thing to score goals at the beginning of the season, like we've seen a lot of players. This is coming to the business end of the season, and he's banging form. You know, I think he's got 4 goals in his last 6 games. He also won the penalty. You know, he's just, this is the kind of form that you want from your attacking players. And, He's shown his potential. Now it's just a case of sustaining it, keeping that level of consistency. And if he's able to do that, then they can have a real charge come the end of the season.
They're bang in the middle of the playoffs. They're not going to slip out, I don't think. They're not going to win the title. How important is it then that they aim for those second and third spots so they don't have those extra games come the end of the season?
Well, they'll definitely have Forest Green in their sights. They're only a few points away from them. And like you bang on, if you can't win the league, then second and third is the next best. Then you don't have to play the eliminator and you go straight into the semi-final. So that's what they'll have their eye on. And I think that they'll want to try and right the wrongs from last season. Obviously, they were in the playoffs and weren't able to compete because of, the situation with the stadium. So this year, they'll definitely want to make sure that they can get into the playoffs, get to Wembley, and then, if they can right the wrongs of last year and get promoted into the Football League, it will almost be a fairy tale ending for them.
It's been a busy few weeks for AFC Fylde. Kevin Phillips departed, and then they go and shock the division and go and beat Altrincham.
It's a weird one. I don't think anyone was surprised by the departure of Kevin Phillips, just purely because they just couldn't get it together. For all the hard work and dedication that was being put in, as a team, they just couldn't get it together. They couldn't find any consistency. And you looked and thought, it's only a matter of time before, they kind of slip away. The win over Altrincham, who have been flying all season, was definitely unexpected. Nick Horton then comes back with a few goals as well. And, he's a player who, under Kevin Phillips, was very much in and out. I envisage that he's going to be very much in for the remainder of the season and to help them continue to try and win games and move away from those relegation slots. So this is a really important game. For both clubs, they both have ambitions of their own, total different ends of the league table, but both equally important.
Hartlepool versus York is another massive game. We've spoken a lot about York. It's quite simple, isn't it? It's a must win. They've got to win.
They have to win the games. That's, if you want to try and be title contenders, these are the games that you have to win. Hartlepool are a very good team. Hartlepool, they have the capabilities of turning anyone over on their day. Desiree is a top striker and will cause anyone problems at this level. But for York, it's just about 3 points. Another game, 3 points. Keep ticking it off. Keep putting the pressure on Barnet. And if they're able to do that, if Barnet do have a slip up or a little wobble, they're in prime position to be able to pounce.
Do you see Barnet having that slip or wobble away at Oldham at the weekend? That's another great game.
Well, this is one of the biggest games of the season. Oldham are a very, very good outfit. Mickey Mellon's a wily old fox. He's been, he's been around the block plenty of times. He knows what it takes to get promoted out of this division. And there'll be nothing sweeter than if they're able to just put the skids on Barnet and enhance their own position. So it's going to be almost a tactical battle between Dean Brennan and Mickey Mellon. But the form that Barnet are showing at the moment, I feel like they've probably got enough to be able to deal with it. We'll have to wait and see, but I'm sure that if I'm correct, the last time they played out a draw. So I'm hoping that there's a winner either way. But yeah, two managers who are held in very high regard in this division, and both, will both go for the win, that's for sure.
It's going to be exciting on the pitch, but also watching Dean Brennan and Mickey Mellon in the touchline. That's going to be another little story, isn't it?
Well,
it's going to be great.
It is, but they're friends. They've got a really good relationship, and they're experienced managers. They know the game. They both fight tooth and nail for their team and for their players, but they've got a real good respect between the two managers. I was there when they played earlier in the season, and afterwards, there was a real genuine respect between the two camps. So, I don't envisage there's going to be any shenanigans going on the touchline, though they are both fiery characters. So we'll have to wait and see.
In the National League South, there's a great fixture between Torquay and Boreham Wood. Another one that if both teams want to solidify their playoffs or title hopes, they both need the 3 points.
100%. And two big names. Two names that were in the National League not too long ago and are desperate to get back there. Torquay are an ex-Football League club. You know, they definitely shouldn't be in that position. But I think that they probably needed that just to have a reset, to get the feel-good factor back in the club. Similar to what we saw with Yeovil, you know, taking a step back, recollaborate, and then come back again. You know, so they'll be looking to try and take all 3 points. But Bourne would have got promotion hopes in their sights, and Luke Garrard will have his team fired up, and they've got the top goal scorer in Kwesi Appiah. So, yeah, they'll be difficult to stop.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Long way to go if you're a travelling fan. A special mention this weekend for the FA Trophy. Sittingbourne FC, the lowest ranked team left in the competition, taking on your old side, Aldershot. What a great occasion, what a great advert for non-league football. We see it in the FA Cup when, you know, Tamworth go to Spurs and that, but this is equal for Sittingbourne in their league and the division they play in to go and host a team like Aldershot.
Absolutely. You know, Ryan Maxwell has done a fantastic job there, you know, to get his team to the level that they're at, to get them to this stage in the competition, to beat Southend, you know, at Roots Hall, you know, was no easy task, but they did it with applause, and they'll be hoping to do the same. You know, I can tell you now, knowing Ryan Maxwell as well as I do, his team will go there fired up. They will
100%.
challenge for every single ball, every tackle, every header. They will be prepared, as prepared as they can possibly be. And then you have to just hope that you can bring your A game and Aldershot don't play to their capabilities. Obviously, there's going to be a discrepancy in ability. That's why Sittingbourne are in the league they're in and Aldershot are in the National League. But if Sittingbourne are able to go there and play their stuff and just disrupt Aldershot, then they've got every chance. Aldershot are in a good vein of form at the moment now, probably the best vein of form that they've been in all season. So, yeah, it makes for a good game.
Yeah, it's going to be a cracking afternoon of football, and it's going to be a sellout as well. But coming up this week on DAZN, we have a feast of National League football. Our cameras head to the northeast this Saturday as Gateshead take on AFC Fylde, exclusively live on DAZN. Our coverage begins from 5:15. On Tuesday, March 4th, we are back for another evening of multi-match live. We bring you the best of the action across the National League. Erin and myself will be live from 7:30. And on Saturday, the 8th of March, it is a huge game at the top of the table as York City take on Forest Green. What a game that promises to be. We are live from 5 o'clock for that one. Okay, before we go, producer Josh spotted this. And this is absolutely fantastic. We spoke about Jamie Cook's absolute wonder goal that he scored. You said it was McLean-esque. We'll get onto that a little bit later. But then it's been a bit of a deja vu because we've seen another goal from Lewis Simper that replicates it. So my question to you, as our top goals analyst, which one is better?
Well, I think Lewis has definitely been watching the show because he's obviously seen Jamie Cook's strike and thought, you know what, I'm going to replicate that and get you boys talking about me. It is a fabulous strike. I must say, I do think Jamie Cook's one is slightly better, and that's purely because he has less time to think about it, and it goes in higher in the goal. So I'm still going to give Jamie Cook the goal, but listen, Lewis's strike was fantastic.
Jamie Cook's one, is that slightly better as well because he catches it on the volley and it doesn't bounce? As a striker who has scored a goal similar to it, is that why?
Yeah, a little bit. Listen, both strikes, take nothing away from both the strikes. They're both fantastic strikes, both from distance. And, you know, you have to be a special player to even attempt something like that, let alone be able to execute it. So fair play to both lads. But if I have to pick one, I'm going to go with Jamie Cook.
Before we started filming this week, Erin showed us the goal that he references, which is similar to the ones that the lads have scored. We haven't got the rights yet. We're going to try our best to try and get the footage so we can show you. But for those listening, tell us what happened, because it is a beauty.
Yeah, well, obviously I'd be biased, but I think my one is better. But mine's a throw-in from the left-hand side. It's thrown across my body. I just turn, swivel, hit it on the volley, 25 yards, far top corner. So mine's actually a cross goal into the far top corner. Keeper waving at his family in the stand. So, yeah, I'd say mine's better, but again, all fantastic strikes.
How do people find that? What do they type in?
Just type in Aaron McLean, that goal, and it will come up.
Aaron McLean, that goal. There you have it. You heard it from the main man himself. Right, that is it from us this week. Myself and Aaron will see you on Tuesday for Multi-Match Live, exclusively live on DAZN. Looking forward to it. We'll see you there. Good evening and welcome to Multi-Match Live.
Here on DAZN, we bring you all the goals, action and drama from tonight's National League game.
With eagle eyes is York City striker Josh Stones. How are you, sir?
Ball towards Fondo, and he scored.
One match just scored.
That's the best performance as a team I've seen with them season. People have written you off.
Josh, firstly, mate, where are you?
I'm sitting in my car outside Dagenham and Redbridge Stadium. I've popped out to have a chat with you two guys before I go back in to watch the rest of the game.
What a night of National League football.
Brilliant. It gives you everything.
Can't beat the National League live coverage on DAZN. Have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next time.
What a wonderful goal.